She is on time. She had a couple of extensions to go.
Okay. Are we in a teen court yet?
No.
She's that one I keep resetting.
Still on open court.
Yep, I remember. Thank you. Everybody's coming in. So good morning. I'm Judge Person. I do welcome everybody to court this morning. I'll probably repeat myself just a bit due to the fact that, I've got everybody's audio connecting. So I do welcome everybody to the Temple Municipal Court. And I have a few people coming in. I don't know. Sometimes connections aren't made as easily as we would like with these types of programs. We'll just stay patient and get it sorted out. So I do want to let you know a few things before we get started about how things move through a Class C court. And I also would like to start Mr. Swain and Mr. Matson on the case that they have pending. And I'll let y'all go ahead and move forward while I do announcements, gentlemen, because I know that you've heard them multiple times. So I'm moving y'all over to that meeting. Let's see, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to let you know a couple of things as we get going. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when we give a plea, we're giving an answer or response to that accusation. And there are three options for pleading in a court like this one. This is a Class C court. The cases that are filed here are Class C offenses, and they result in the imposition of fines and costs. They don't normally result in jail time. It's possible to have warrants, though, if you miss a court date, or if you're scheduled to do something such as turn in a class or make a payment or turn in a record. If you miss a court date, due dates or court dates, cases can get a warrant. So I'm just trying to highlight, keep up with things, make sure you know the next date. There's always a next date your case is completed. So getting back to the accusation point, which is the ticket, or if you received a summons. So what happens then is that if you receive a summons or a ticket, again, you're being accused, and the pleading options are guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you're saying, I did this. This is what I did. If you plead not guilty, you're contesting the charge. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. And if you plead no contest, you're authorizing the court to find you guilty without admitting or denying the offense. Okay. And I see where Mr. Jones, I think he's the one in the lobby, is with Zena. Okay. Zena, are you there with Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be with him shortly. Thank you for helping him.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, and so I just want to do a couple of things here. So guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Again, guilty is I did this. No contest is not contesting it, not admitting it, judge. Just move forward with sentencing. So if you plead guilty or no contest, I'm moving forward with sentencing. If your plea has already been accepted by the court, we're looking at the sentence and just checking in about it. Maybe it's not working. We need to visit about it, perhaps. If you plead not guilty, I'm moving that case toward trial. And this is just an online meeting. And sometimes that's really helpful. It can be helpful to do it online. But ultimately, if cases are heading to trial, we'll bounce them into the court because we're not authorized anymore to do trials online. I never did it anyway. I didn't think it was going to be particularly helpful. So So those are kind of the directions that things go. Now, if you plead guilty or no contest, let me talk a little bit about sentencing. Normally, under Texas law, you're found guilty, you pay the fines and costs, it goes on your record. Okay, let's talk about payment of fines and costs real quick. Everybody's situation is different. You were probably asked to fill out a financial affidavit. You would be asked that whether you were on the contested docket or the sentencing docket. Okay. They're used for different reasons in different ways, but I don't really think it's appropriate. I don't like to fill out the same information over and over and over for different reasons. If I can just flip it over and use it a different way, I will. So I usually just get that information one time. And what I want to tell you about that is, so you would have been asked on either docket to do it. It's just for different purposes. When we look at sentencing, when I'm looking at sentencing and I'm looking at fines and costs, I'm looking at that information. So, and you're under oath, but also it's helpful. If I have incomplete information, I may not make a very particularly helpful sentence. I may overimpose a sentence. I may underimpose a sentence. I may not consider things that I need to consider. So the most information there is helpful. And I may have questions and I'll ask you about it. But that information on the financial affidavit, you should consider to be your sworn statement. Okay. And it's a crime to lie. So on the under oath. So that's really where that is. So I'll be looking at that in connection with what is appropriate in a sentence. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the part where I said you're found guilty and it goes on your record. So that's the general rule, but then there are 4 exceptions. They are compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. Compliance dismissals are under state law things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. The law must specify that that can happen. I know that list. If I see that you have something like that, I will start moving in that direction. My questions will be geared toward seeing if you met the requirements or could meet the requirements to get that dismissal. You don't have to ask that. It will be something I automatically do. I do want to let you know, though, if you ask questions about that, I'll do my best where appropriate to answer those questions, because you have the right to just ask about it. Now, I can't give legal advice. The prosecutor also cannot give legal advice. But what I will say is, if you ask a question and I am legally allowed to answer it, I'll answer it. It's simple. So just, if not, I'll just tell you I can't answer it. I'll give a brief reason and we'll move on. I'm not going to get angry. Okay. Unless it's, I mean, I'm not saying I've never been angry, but it's pretty unusual for me to get angry over a question. Just ask and we'll see where we are. Okay. As long as everybody's respectful, I don't see a problem. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is, so the second one, which is, remember I said there were 4 dismissal options. The second one is for moving violations in Texas. If you qualify and successfully complete a driver safety course program, you can get your case dismissed and save money, right? So that's for moving violations. You have to pre-qualify. I'll automatically start looking if it looks like the offense is the type that qualifies and it looks like you might be eligible. I'll start looking for eligibility. You're welcome to ask about that. It's moving violations. That's the first question. And then we start looking at, is the person on time, et cetera. So I'll look for those and I'll automatically move in that direction with or without questions. Okay. Although you're welcome to ask. The third option for gaining a dismissal in a Class C court like this one is if you do a deferred disposition. Sometimes we just call it a deferral. In a deferred disposition, deferred means delay, disposition to make it final, delay making it final. I delay making it final. I put a court order in place. If you successfully meet the conditions that are listed in that order, then I dismiss your charge. So it's a known outcome. So here are the tricks for that one, right? Remember, think about the fact we all, you come into a foreign setting like a courtroom. Most of us aren't in a courtroom very often, other than myself and the city prosecutor. Most people aren't in a courtroom every day, and that's a good thing, right? So sometimes I know, like when I go into a setting like that where I don't know what are the rules, I'm wondering what are the magic rules? Like, what do I need to say to get the good stuff, right? So a deferral is one of those things where there is a little magic language, but it's quick. Guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. In a Class C court, you can ask the judge directly. In a Class B or greater, you must ask the prosecutor and get an agreement to get one. We have a handful of cases where you must ask the prosecutor. So if you have something like that and you ask me, I'm probably going to move you onto that docket to get that request pushed forward. Okay. The other thing I'm going to tell you about that is judges can say, yes, I'll grant it. No, I won't grant it. Okay. And then the final thing about that is that if you're on the pretrial docket, if you're contesting the charge, you can, if you can come up with an agreement with the city prosecutor, the district attorney, the city attorney's office, if you can come up with an agreement with that prosecutor and y'all bring that agreement to me, I'm normally approving those agreements. I mean, if not, I usually give a brief explanation, though I'm not required to. So what I'm saying is, you make that request. The first two I'm looking, you can ask. The third one, you're asking and I'm responding. Okay. So it's flipped. Okay. And then the fourth one is teen court, and you have to be enrolled in school or middle school, high school, a GED, or the equivalent of a program to get that diploma. So I'll be looking for those. If you're in school and I'm not saying the words teen court to you, say them to me and let me know you're in school, because teen court is actually very successful. And success here is defined as, in one sense, is whether the person reoffends. And teen court is our most effective tool for a person not reoffending. And then with teen court, it looks a bit like a deferred. The difference is that the burden is on the young person rather than the parent, because a parent paying a fine probably not going to learn as much. That's not every family. Some families, maybe it works, but the presumption is the person who's accused of something should be the person who does either the punishment or the remedial measure. Okay. So that's the 101. Those are the 4 dismissals. Okay. I don't have a 5th hidden option that I hide for just people who know. So, most 98% of us will represent ourselves in a court like this one. And I will give each person an opportunity to respond when it's their turn. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Mr. Mattson, Mr. Swain, let's begin there. If y'all could both unmute and tell me which person we're talking about, because I actually am not sure. I want to say Swearingen and Garner are our 2 cases today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go ahead and just start with Garner if that's possible.
Sure thing, Judge. Mr. Swainson has taken offer back to his client, and we will reconvene either on final pretrial or before then.
Okay, and this is one where we were looking at also, it did get set for just to check in on discovery. So discovery is a pending request there, and we want to get that done if it's not already been done.
It has been done, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't know if we have that in the court's file just yet. That's why I'm bringing it up.
I just sent it a couple minutes ago, so
Oh.
Aaron should have access to it now.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm in with Tracy today, but we'll run it down. Thank you for that update. So final pretrial is September 6th at 2, and we'll either remove it from the docket because it's resolved, or we'll see everybody here on that day. Any questions, Mr. Swain?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, let's move on to Swearingen.
We are in the same situation, pretty much identically, Your Honor.
Okay, discovery's done, and we're resetting for September 6th.
That is correct.
We have 3. You can, it doesn't matter. You can come at 2 on both. We're not going to hold you over. Okay, we'll see you then unless it's resolved.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything further that you have with the court, Mr. Swain?
No, Your Honor. I appreciate
Well
that.
done. Without further request, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And actually, Mr. Matson, your next person is Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson, I've got to find you on my screen, but if you could unmute and tell me how you're doing. There you are. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. I just want to make sure your audio is working before I move you into the pretrial room. And what'll happen is I'll move you over there and you might be able to get back on your own. If not, I'll move you back over. But at the end, y'all will both come back and check in with me. The city attorney is Ryan Matson, and he is the equivalent of like a district attorney. So for folks here, just be aware he's not representing you. He represents either the city or the party that filed the charge. So he can't give legal advice. And at trial, he's prosecuting. So just be aware, Mr. Thompson, that's who you're meeting with. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I just like to be very conscious about how we explain what we're doing. So I'm moving you over to that meeting, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and just a real quick question. I'm going to call a series of names. It's because I want to avoid, well, actually, there's only one person that I'm not sure who they are. If Leah McHorse, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I was waiting in a different Zoom meeting for you, and then I called the city. It had a different date, and so they sent me the correct link.
Right, I think you're not listed on my calendar for today. Are you?
Oh,
Are you Starling? I'm sorry, that's what's, sorry.
Darling Decor New York.
yes, I own Darling.
And more. Okay, okay. All right. I have you logged in and yeah, sometimes there's confusion, especially with a name that's different. And so now we're all on the same page and we'll be with you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm just going to start with, if I could start with Haley Brown to unmute, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just getting your file pulled up. Let's see. I'm looking, let me look at your, she's on time, right?
She is not.
Is she qualified for a prosecutor dismissal? I think she might be.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I have your license. Thank you very much. And you're actually, we were looking at teen court, but Ms. Brown, teen court would be more involved and it would require that you basically repeat the courses that you already just did to get this license. So you qualify for what is called a prosecutor dismissal. And I'm going to sign that now and email it to the email that we used to set up today's meeting. Will that email work for you? That case is being dismissed outright. You're not going to go through a teen court process. It's almost like we treat it as a compliance dismissal. State law doesn't actually allow for a compliance dismissal for this type of charge, but I have a written agreement with this prosecutor that we treat it as one locally, because, well, truthfully, there's only so many courses you can do, and you just did them all to get your license. So turning around and paying to do them again to get your license makes no sense. So we're just going to go ahead and do that dismissal, and we'll email it to you. And with the thanks of the court, you're actually free to go, and we'll email you the dismissal. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions before y'all go?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then we'll email that out shortly.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
Yes, thank you both. Okay, and then if I could talk to Mr. Jones just briefly. He's actually scheduled for the pretrial, but I want to explain kind of where things are. So, Mr. Jones, if you could unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today, sir?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm fine. You're David Jones, right?
Yes, ma'am. David R. Jones.
Okay, let me kind of give you the rundown. You're actually scheduled for the pretrial. You're not scheduled to talk directly to me yet, but I want to kind of let you know, first of all, you're waiting in the lobby, so I just wanted to run that down. But the other thing is, Okay, so we scheduled you, and this is a failing to identify charge. And then what I received in the mail, and hang on just one moment, do we have that printed? He's the one with the lawyer letter, right?
I don't know if it's in his,
It's not in what I've got.
Okay.
So I'm just getting one thing printed, okay? And my understanding, if I've got this right, I received a letter from an attorney that might be representing you. It was, I'm gonna pull it and just look at it again. Because I glanced at it briefly. I think it came in yesterday or the day. Yeah, it was yesterday. And just give me a moment, but it wasn't signed, so that's always a problem. And then I wasn't completely clear whether that attorney was representing you on this charge. Hang on just a moment, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the prosecutor dismissal? Mm-mm. It's okay. So what I received was a letter from Randy Dale asking for your property to be returned. It's unsigned, and it's the property, as I've been able to find it, okay, is related to a case that is not filed here in this court. It's filed at county, and I don't handle the county's docket. And this did not, the motion that he filed didn't address whether he represents you on this case of failure to identify. And we have tried to call and seek clarification, but it's not forthcoming so far. But I mean, we just got this. Well, we got it August 11th, actually. So we've been trying since then to reach that attorney and just get clarification. So I don't really know if you're represented, and if so, we need to reschedule your case for your attorney to be part of this and for us to get a letter of representation. You have an absolute right to consult with and hire an attorney of your choice. And if we proceed today, you're waiving that right. So I want to be very cautious and not, step where I should not go. So I'm inclined to reschedule you, and you either clarify with that attorney, Mr. Dale, whether you are hiring him or whether he is representing you over here. And if not, then you come back on another date and we'll go from there. But I don't have a way to respond to this motion that's been filed because it's property that I am not, I don't have jurisdiction over this property. The county does.
May I respond?
There's a limited amount that I can do with that because you might be represented and the attorney would have the right to respond to their motion. But if it can clarify what's happening here, that might be a good thing to give me right now.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Dale is my court-appointed public defender for the county case. Under the motion for discovery, that was filed on the 11th of August by me to get my property back from Temple PD. Mr. Dale has not represented me in the municipal court. I am pro se.
Well, he's filing motions here with the case number that we have here.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see that's, if an attorney files a motion on a case, then they're representing you. But they normally send a letter saying, I represent this person.
Right. And under the motion for discovery, I think I designated that I am pro se
He said he filed a motion for discovery.
in this case.
I'm looking to see that motion. I don't have it. Is it in there? Like, is it somewhere in his file?
Yes, I'm.
Trying to pull it up.
Settings.
Hold on, I'm looking to see, I don't see that motion, but I'm double checking the court's file. And it does take technology, well, frankly, longer than it should to do what it needs to do. So while we're waiting on that, just hold tight. I'll be right with you. And Mr. Mattson, let's talk with Mr. Thompson about where we are with that matter. And let me just get that file pulled up before we talk.
September 6th.
So he filed something, and that's, let me see what he put there. It might help. I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Mattson. I'll be right with y'all. We need to figure out why this is so slow. Court is just not going to run smoothly when we go live. 50 people with 50 documents or more. It's not your fault. Okay, on the Thompson case, while I'm waiting for that system to open, there are 3 cases, allegations of outside storage. There's actually a 4th one pending with approval request in Mr. Mattson's inbox. And I've got a not guilty on all of those so far. So they're all set for today. If we could, where are we with these cases?
Judge, Mr. Thompson and I have a bit of an agreement in place, so we're going to go ahead and continue to final pretrial. But
Okay.
there's a good chance these cases get resolved.
Okay, we're scheduled to be here for the final pretrial, which is an in-person meeting on the 6th of September at 3. And that can be changed if y'all agree and I approve it. But otherwise, I'll expect to see everybody here in person that day and just expect to be here maybe an hour. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then you are free to go right now with the thanks of the court.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, let's see. I'm just. Okay, so nothing written down from him on his plea form or anything about that. He just asked. Asked for a trail. Nothing there. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, so here's what I've got. on the Jones case. I've got a form from the county, which is my PR bond release sheet that was refused signed. That's just acknowledging that you have a duty to contact the court. Luckily, you went ahead and went ahead and contacted the court. So it kind of put that issue to rest for now. But you do have time credit that is not yet applied to your case, Mr. Jones, because I don't have, a plea right now that allows me to apply it. If it becomes relevant in the future, I would rule on whether it could apply. But right now, you stand accused, and if you're not found guilty, that issue would never come up. So I'm not ruling on that yet, but I have just that. The next thing I have is on the same day, you set your case for discovery and an attorney filed a motion with the case number at the top. I've got to get clarification about that from that attorney, because if it is their intention to represent you and we start talking to you about your case at length, I have moved my way into an ethics violation, and I'm just not interested in going there. So I'm going to have to go ahead and schedule that case. We've told the attorney and they just aren't showing up. So now I have to start asking the attorney if I need to hold him in contempt for not showing up. I mean, this is just, a mess. I'll tell you though, the issue of the county and whether they, what they're doing with your property is not connected to this case. So I don't have jurisdiction over it, but I can't rule on it yet because the attorney didn't show up today and it's their motion. So
Ma'am,
you need to get with that attorney and tell him to clarify with this court what he's trying to do with us. Because he doesn't know what he's doing, or he's doing something in an unusual way.
yeah, that motion for a return of property was filed on the same day of motion for discovery. That was done by me. That was my mistake. It's
I
not
don't
the
have a
attorney.
motion for discovery from you. I have you saying to the clerk, I would like discovery, and you signed off saying you want it. And I'm not saying that you can't have discovery. You're going to get discovery. But what I'm saying is I can't rule on that or this without the attorney present. Because once an attorney files something with a court, they have the right to be heard on their motion.
Okay.
It's invoked a process that I am forced to follow. So I'm rescheduling this case for August 7th. That'll be on Zoom. And, the attorney can be here and you can be here with that attorney, which might be a good idea. So we can all clarify what's happening here. But right now, there's nothing I can do until I either hold the attorney in contempt for not showing up or get that person to clarify what they're doing here, because I don't understand it.
Okay. You said I need to contact him.
I would suggest that you contact your attorney, since I can't talk to you about the case, since
Right.
they filed a motion here unsigned, case number on it that is your case. So they appear to be representing you on this case right now. And I'm
I
saying,
do not know. I had on the motion for discovery, I had filed that on the 11th.
I understand. I've repeated that to you 3 times now. I can't rule on that motion.
Okay.
Not right now. You're not pro se. You're not pro se right now.
My experience with the court is very limited. And so I'm relying on your instructed me on what I need to do, and I appreciate it.
I'm rescheduling the case for August 7th at 9:00 on Zoom, and to try to see if we can get some clarification. But since my office has reached out to that attorney multiple times and we are not hearing back from them, I would suggest that you want to maybe talk to that person and figure out, you know, they need to clarify what they're doing with this court, because right now they filed a motion. They appear to be representing you, yet it's not entirely clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Like
August
an attorney
7th.
standing halfway in the door who refuses to go in or out. So I'm just trying to figure it out.
Okay, you said August 7th. I do believe we're past August 7th, aren't we?
I apologize. I think that we mean September 7th. Let me double check. Is it September 7th?
It's September 7th,
September 7th. I just wrote it down wrong.
but it's, I don't recall already set on September 6th, so.
Okay. Let's just set it for here in the courtroom. Of course, if he doesn't show up, he's made a trip.
I
Let's,
will contact him and see if we can get out of
well, he
what
needs,
I found.
if he's not representing you here, he needs to file a motion to withdraw. If
Okay.
he's representing you here, he needs to formally file a letter of representation and sign his motions.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not, I mean, I was a young lawyer before, you know, it was a while back. It's been a minute, right? But what I'll tell you there is, you know, you're moving fast and maybe you need somebody to clarify. But I'll wait too.
Yeah, he's already told me that
He's not a
he-
young lawyer, I don't think.
he's already told me that he's not representing me in the municipal court.
Well, he hadn't told me that. He told me he
Oh.
did.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. He told me he represents you here.
By filing a motion for return of property. is
Yeah,
that
it's not
correct?
just paper. It's
Yeah.
not just paper. When you file a motion with a court, we actually technically call it an instrument. We treat it like a hammer, a screwdriver. We treat it like a solid object that requires attention. It's not just paper. And he put an instrument in this court that I need to rule on, and you're here and he's not, so I can't. You're just in limbo.
I will have him send you that letter of withdrawal.
Well, right now, yeah, he's got a court date in this courtroom on September 6th at 2:00 with you. Okay, I moved it from the 7th to the 6th. We're going to be here.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you then, and him too, to rule on his motions.
Yes, ma'am.
Because even if he files a withdrawal now, I have to rule on that. So I suggest we all get in the courtroom and get this straightened out.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're good to go, okay? I know you took some time to be here and I appreciate it. And I'm sorry for the mix-up, but it's on the other side of this.
We'll get it straightened out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Mr. Mattson, Leah McHorse is here for Darling Decor and More. And I'm going to move y'all into the pretrial room. She was sent the wrong link, perhaps, or something happened. But in any event, she might have missed part of the beginning of the announcements. So be patient because she got here as quickly as she could. Okay. If y'all could both unmute, it would be great.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And I too am moving forward. If I could talk to Kendrick Johnson. If you can unmute, tell me how you're doing while I pull up your file, that would be great.
Doing fine, thank you.
Thank you. I do have warrants. We had a prior payment plan. And then there's a request for community service. And looking at my file, I do find that you're eligible. I do want to suggest, though, that you do let's see. You know, with community service, there's a little more patience as far as, you know, like time and everything and where you go. You get to kind of choose from a list. and you don't have to do as much. But I also want to suggest that you, if
Excuse
you
me.
have concerns, medically, talk to your doctor about it before you get started. But anyway, I can withdraw your warrants and order community service. And you're here locally. So I have a list of local places where you can do that service that I know are friendly to it. And it does come to 40 hours. I'm actually going to give you 60 days to get that done. And that means October 24th. I will recall your warrants today. I do want to ask you, though, I'm going to need you to come by and sign off on one waiver form. Okay.
ma'am.
And you won't be arrested at the court because you're coming in to make a resolution. Okay. So don't be concerned about that. And then I'll have a list of places where you can do the work. They include the city, which is just one of the places to choose from. If you work with the city, they require you have a waiver on file. So you'll sign that here while you're here, and then you take the list and make your decision. You don't have to decide today, but don't wait too long. Here's on ground, and this is on his. Pick a place, get it started, because it's not that many hours. Like if you think about a regular work week being 40 hours and you have, excuse me, 8 weeks or so to get it done. But, getting in and out and getting that done can take a little time to get into a rhythm of it. So just get started as soon as possible. But as I say, if you have questions regarding your disability and getting this work done, and a doctor puts that in writing, I can consider that. So I don't know everything going on with you, and I'm not asking you to give me all your medical information on the internet right now. But if there are things that need to be drawn to my attention, your doctor can put them in writing, and I can consider those as well. Okay.
Okay. Is it a certain amount of hours that I have to?
Yeah.
My bad. I asked that wrong. Is it only a certain amount of hours that I have to do a day? Like 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours a day, or I can just get as many done as I want.
Yeah, I really leave that up to you because I treat everybody like an adult.
Yeah, I never did this community service stuff. I'm sorry.
No, it's a good question. And so, there are courts that do those kinds of limits, like you can't do X number. And honestly, to make determinations like that, I would have to wade into people's health and get medical records. And I'm not a doctor, right? So what I would say is, you decide what's comfortable for you. You don't have to do 2 hours every day. You could do 8 hours every day and be done more quickly, but it's 40 total, and you have ample time to just get it done in an 8-week period, 60 days. And then if you need more time, you turn in on or before your due date everything you've done, and you drop me a note and say, this is how much longer I need, and I'm just working with you on that.
And when do I come and sign that waiver? Whenever I get the time, or no?
That's actually my final question. When can you be here today? What time?
As soon as we get off the call.
Okay, well, let's do that unless you have any more questions.
Okay. When I come in, who do I ask for?
Anyone at the front desk can help you. You just say, I'm Kendrick Johnson. The judge has my paperwork, and I'm here to sign my forms and get my community service paperwork, and they will have it.
Okay. Thank you.
See you in about 30 minutes or something, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too.
And so I'm moving forward, if I could, with Leandra Ruiz. If you could unmute and tell me how you're doing.
Hello, Judge. I'm doing good. How are you?
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz. I'm fine. Let me get your paperwork. I'm just pulling it up real quickly.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
where we are is we have I see. Okay. We have 2 cases You're in a different community.
Yes, ma'am.
And just hold on. We had hours due. We don't have a timesheet for those turned in right now. I did get notice about the things that have been going on in your life. I don't want to get too into your personal business,
Yes, ma'am.
but I want to acknowledge that I know about it. Is that an ongoing thing? Are you in a safe situation?
Yes, ma'am. I am in a safe situation right now. I moved 4 hours from Temple. I live in Mount Pleasant now. I actually left the relationship while all this was going. It actually happened right after I had court the last time I talked to you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I haven't had the time to do my community service, and I know I signed a docket with you. I think I was supposed to get a hold of you in June
Yes, ma'am.
to request do all my hours, and I couldn't do it because of the things that was going on in my life. But I'm situated now, and I'm actually working. So I was trying to see if I can get some more time just to do community service or just go ahead and pay it off.
Okay. Actually, if I could have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information you've provided today is true, correct, and accurate, so help you God?
I swear. Yes.
I'm actually gonna waive your fines and costs.
Okay.
I have that option under these circumstances.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
will exercise that authority and zero out your balance today
Thank you.
with nothing further from the court. And I think I have a hold on your license right now.
Yes, ma'am.
That will take several weeks to clear. We'll clear it with DPS today or tomorrow, but I
Okay.
know that then DPS will take a while to
Yes, ma'am.
get it off of your. But
Yes, ma'am. Because I talked to the judge where I got my license, and they told me there was still a hold on there after I did everything I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting on that.
so what I will say to you is, if you look up onto Texas failure to appear, just type those words into a search engine and look yourself up there. You'll see us under open cases. And when
Okay.
it drops to closed, DPS has cleared it.
Oh, okay.
We have up to 5 days to release it on our end. We generally do that today. We don't wait. But what I want to tell you about that is if we're the hold, it'll say open. And as soon as DPS acknowledges our release, it'll move to closed. And if there are any other courts listed as open,
Yes, ma'am.
you have pending issues with them, if you're not getting resolved with them already, contact them and get moving on it so that it can all just come to an end.
Yes, ma'am.
Folks who have gone through what you've been going through, those courts need to know. Sometimes they will do what I've done and exercise some authority to help you.
Yes, ma'am. I've actually I actually have a pending case right now, and I've already explained to them what's going on. So they actually did work with me with that. So
Great.
I've actually been keeping up with all my court dates and all my law. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
All right. You're free to go with the thanks of the court.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz. Best wishes to the rest of your journey.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Doing well. Okay, on the Darling decor case, where are we?
Your Honor, I was interested to see whether or not Ms. McCourse would qualify for community service.
Let me look. I don't know because what she just put is income varies. I'd probably have to look at like her taxes because.
Your Honor, may I clarify?
Sure.
this is our 10th year of being in business, and this has been the hardest year. We are struggling just to keep our doors open. I am currently at St. David's South Hospital, where my husband has been battling leukemia all year. So my husband has not been working. Even a reduced fine is still going to be challenging for my business. I love to serve, so I would be happy to work around community service, even if it has to be for the full amount of the fine. I would be, happy to do that.
Right.
Anytime the city has said I've been in a violation, we have tried to correct that problem instantly. I've been in this location for 6 years. I don't know why it's escalated this time.
The prosecutor might be able to answer that for you. I don't reach out to code enforcement and get them to talk to me about cases behind closed doors. As far as community service, I'm certainly willing to consider it, but I'm supposed to verify and support that with paperwork. And the paperwork you
Okay.
fill out just says you've reported no income and said it varies, but that you have all these bills. So it's
Yeah.
not that I don't listen and let me finish.
Sorry.
It's not that I don't believe you. It's that I don't have enough in my file to support ordering community service right now. So I need you to fill this out more fully or provide me with your tax forms. I think our better bet right now is to reschedule your case. And with your situation down there in Austin, I would want to push this out, Mr. Mattson, to say the 7th of September online, so that you're not having to drive up here for the 6th, because if you have a loved one, and that's another thing that I need is maybe like a doctor's note, just telling me, that having that in my file will be helpful too, because I would like to take that into consideration. So it's not that I don't believe you. I just need a little more verification in my file.
Sure. It's hard to guesstimate income that comes in because
Well, do you
it's a store.
Do you not do taxes?
Yes, but my taxes from last year are going to be vastly different than the taxes from what's going on this current year.
Well, I just need your truth statement about how things are working. And,
Okay.
and someone just putting something that isn't a number is not something that
Would it be beneficial if I brought you like what our sales were for the past few months versus what my bills are?
I mean, I don't know. You're asking me, would it benefit you to look at something that I might show you that I'm thinking will benefit you? That's what I hear you saying. And
Okay, then that's what
I would
I
need.
just didn't know if it would be acceptable.
I just don't know how to look at a thing and tell you without looking at it.
Okay, fair enough.
It's kind of like this. It's like somebody going, how much do you make? Well, I have it over here, but you can't see it. But trust me, it's kind of low. Okay, well, that can go well into my file. And if I get audited, that's just wrong. So my answer is no, you can't do community service. If you want to give me more information for me to rule on, I'll be happy to consider it. I'm rescheduling the case to Zoom. And that'll be for September 7th at 9:00. Get me whatever you can get me. I think I've hinted at what might be helpful.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If I could just ask and confirm, I want to make sure I haven't missed anybody. Jessica Langford, do you happen to be here? Brett Houston, Dietrich Epperson, Michael Barnes, Simon Aviles, and Babak Almasi. I thought I saw Babak Almasi.
Yes, I'm here. It's under my wife's
There
name.
you I knew I saw that name and I thought, I've seen that name, but I had you as not here. Okay, great. That's why I call it. Okay, Mr. Amasi, I'm gonna move you over to a meeting with Mr. Mattson. You're on the pretrial docket.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I knew I saw that name. I just didn't register it on the case.
Judge, before I go over, I just wanted to clarify something. You had talked about resetting David Jones, and then I think we said maybe it'd be better if he came in person.
Yeah.
Is he gonna come to final pretrial on the 6th, or is he gonna do Zoom on the 7th?
6th,
The 6th, okay,
because I want that lawyer in here.
understood.
Madness, and that lawyer has a 059 bar number, so that is not a young lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little concerned at a lawyer who doesn't sign motions. It's weird. I just need it clarified. Thank you. Okay, and I too am moving forward, if I could, with Michaela Perez. If you could unmute and tell me how you're doing, and get on screen if you could, please.
I'm doing good.
How are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing. It's a public interest charge, and I did receive a plea, a request for a deferral, and that you would like it to be off your record. I understand. Let me back up first, though, because not student, right?
Sorry, what was it?
You're not a high school student, right?
No, ma'am.
And so you just look very, and I now know you from seeing your face. What I would tell you, I granted you deferral, and you actually served. And the only thing that I'm going to require besides your signature today is a single class.
A single what? Sorry.
An online class.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's just going to, do we have a class? Life skills. I've got an echo coming from your mic, so I'm just, I can hear myself talk as I'm talking. So give me just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just looking for the appropriate class. So I will credit, so you're not going to, I will grant your deferral.
Thank you.
There's a alcohol awareness, and it's just a class.
Okay.
And you'll be able to, when you do this. And the deferral was made until December 25th. You'll be on, and your time today. Your class is until October 24th.
Okay.
And as long as you don't get any more offenses in the class and on time, once I have your today, the case will be dismissed.
Thank you.
So what time can you come in today?
I can come in after I get off.
Okay. So before 11?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll have everything in the front window for you. You'll get a copy of the referral. It'll have your and questions before I let you go.
Thank you.
He's a waitress at Jody's. She always waits on me. But I don't actually, I didn't know her name. I might have known her first name actually, but I didn't know her last name. Okay, moving forward, Alejandro Hernandez, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
I'm doing fine, Judge. And you?
Yes, I'm well, thanks. Let's see. I called your name, but I've got to find your file. Give me a moment. Jackson's next. Kennedy. For some reason, I don't have. Let me see if he got put in another. Hang on just a moment. Please. Don't have him there. Don't have this Jackson. Armstrong. Lawrence, Kennedy. I don't have him. Mr. Henderson. Hernandez, excuse me, Alejandra. We'll get there.
Yes, ma'am.
To a charge.
I'm just looking at your case. It is.
He's on a deferral for
Okay. This is a speeding charge. And let's see. He emailed in a signed deferral on the 12th. And then he paid 2 days later. Right, but why wouldn't that have just been, why would we enter conviction?
I don't know.
I don't think we should have.
On
He
the
was-
one that he paid before?
Well, that's this one. So he requests a deferral on the 12th. Let me get a screen for him. I don't have anything at all up here for him. Hold on, Mr. Hernandez. We'll get you clarified, okay?
Ma'am.
I want like we do for everybody, where I like this. And I've got see nothing.
That's the only open. I don't know. I was going to ask Erin why she said this,
Okay,
but she was at school.
okay. It's reset to today on this one.
She said it because she wanted to know if it was going to cause this deferral to not be valid.
I see.
Paid on that.
Okay, so this one is still,
June 9th, if I-
he's still on a deferral in this case, right?
Yes,
Okay. And then,
we got the other charge in July.
okay,
So it was
I see. I think it was between, okay, his deferral began on 11th. And LT's not now, LT has locked this other case. And he got the other ticket, I can't open it because so frustrating. So he had a fail to control speed way before. And then he went into a driver's seat for that one, right?
No, we just paid for it.
And he paid it before he started his deferral.
Yes.
Why would it trigger it? Oh, I'm supposed to be reviewing it for this issue? Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, Mr. Hernandez, I think the clerk was being overly cautious.
Alrighty.
She wanted to make sure that You weren't going to get convicted on your deferral because that other charge kind of got paid close in time.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be used against you in your deferral. Your deferral will stay on, okay? And I'm just making a note so that no one gets confused over here either, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're good with the thanks of the court. Your deferral, when does that deferral end? Do we know?
Yes.
August, let's see, no.
No.
That's why I would love notes to have stuff like that where we can look quickly. Having to pull up the documents.
I just didn't understand what she said.
Yeah, I'm
I
not,
wanted to call her, but
it's okay. I'm not completely clear either, but he's got a class due. You do have a class due September 12th. Let me print this up and okay, so November 9th is the final date for your deferred. And it includes a driver safety course that's due September 12th, which is coming up. And we did send information to you about how to find a class.
Okay.
Okay, and that was included in your email. If you don't have that, email back and ask it to be resent. But we sent that when we sent you a copy of your order.
Yes, ma'am.
It's included. It looks like that.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And it tells you how to find a class. But your due date for that is right here on your deferral order, okay?
Ma'am.
Okay, all right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. That was confusing. Mr. Mattson, I'll try again to get Mr. Almasi back in. Okay. On the Almasi case, where are we?
Your Honor, Mr. Almasi and I have reached terms of deferral.
Okay.
It's going to be a 120-day period with a 6-hour driver safety course by day 60. And he said he can pay the fine in full within 30 days.
Okay, I don't have financial information, so I don't mind granting that as y'all have agreed. But when I get signature, I also need to get the financial affidavit filled out to grant the 30 days. So I'll resend it. And I'll send that deferral over email because I have you in Plano. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll email that to you shortly. And what I'll need back is the deferral order with your signature and the financial affidavit filled out. Can you get those back to us by email today?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, then we'll email that to you. I'll follow the agreement that y'all have. And that's a path toward dismissal.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're good to go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
in the next hour or so and get it back to us today, please?
I will be in the office within the next hour. I'll try to get it within the next 2 hours. I'll have it back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Metzen, I don't have anyone else on your docket that is here. And so I am going to let you go at this time.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Do you have anything else for the court before you leave?
Not at this time. I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ms. Jackson, are you able to unmute and let me know how you're doing?
Yes, ma'am, I'm doing fine.
Okay, I have cases with you that have a warrant, and I'm as interested as you are probably in getting those warrants resolved. It originally was an order of community service with 37 hours due by November 29th of 2022, and I didn't receive those hours. Were you able to get anything done on those hours so far?
I was able to get a few hours before I lost the paper, but
Okay.
then my car went down and I wasn't able to complete those hours.
Okay. And now you're working, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And it looks like, where were you doing those hours? Let's get back to that first.
This food pantry around the corner, Church of Christ, I believe.
Okay. I don't know if it's one that I can approve, but I wouldn't mind looking at it. I would just need you to turn in those hours. Do you have access where you could turn them in?
I can see if I can go get those few hours.
I can give you up to Friday to turn in any hours so that I can consider whether I can credit them. I'll do my best. I'm sorry, today's Thursday. Let me give you till next week on that. I don't know why my brain thought it was Monday. Just looking, let's say by next Thursday, I either need them or I'm just going to assume I'm not going to get them. Okay. Because I need a cutoff point for that, but that's a week, and you can email those in or you can bring them by the court. And then the next thing I have is that I'm showing that I could just set you up on a low payment plan. And maybe let me also look at, I want to do a reduction too on your cases. I'm going to need your signature on the payment plan, but I can do $25 a month.
Okay.
I need you to come by though and sign that today. Will that work? Can we look to have you here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what time will work for you?
I can be there before 11.
Okay. I'm going to change your amount due by doing some reductions once I finish court. So there'll be a new number when you get here. Right now it's $975. If you have those hours handy, just bring them with you, and that way I can do a further reduction. But you have a week to get that in, okay? And then we'll just go ahead and set payment plan. If I get hours in, I'll take payments off the bottom end of it, so it'll just not last as long, okay? And I'm also going to do a reduction overall on the fines in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just making sure I've got clear notes. Okay. All right. We'll have everything at the front desk and we'll go ahead and get those warrants turned off today. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Kyvik Kennedy, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing all right this good morning. How about yourself, Your Honor?
I'm doing fine. Okay, let's see. We've got a number of things. First, let me just read my file out loud to you and kind of tell you where we are, and then we'll talk about options. There's a failed to maintain financial responsibility. We also call that a no insurance case. And that is from October 4th of 2021. And the fines and costs are at 417.30. That case is in warrant right now. It's a payment plan that went to warrant. There's a speeding charge from September 26th. The fines and costs are 421.20, and that case has gone to warrant. Just the same payment plan. It just went off and we didn't hear from you. A no insurance charge from September 26th that also went to warrant. Then I have a driving while license invalid charge from April 24th of 2023. The fines and costs are 331, and that case currently stands in warrant. I did receive a plea of guilty and a request for a deferral on that charge. I'm not sure I can get you to that deferral, but I'll see what I can do here in a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your plea at this time, the plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there's an expired motor vehicle charge that has fines and costs of 331. And I did receive a plea of guilty and a request for deferred. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there is a second charge of driving while license invalid from May 5th. And the case is in warrant. The fines and costs are 331. And I did receive a plea of guilty and a request for a deferral. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then it's a question I ask everyone similarly situated. It's not an assumption on my part. I'm just looking for answers to try to solve some of this. Do you have any jail time that I could apply as credit toward any of these cases, do you think?
I was arrested for tickets back in, I want to say maybe at the beginning of the summer, and I had got time credited for.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Was that in Bell County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do have look privileges with them. Let me look and see if I can see any credit that I could apply.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let me start there and then see what we're left with. Can you give me a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hang on.
For don't credit on President Kennedy. No, for and the person is KYB. Why? BIK. We're looking for something beginning this summer. The judge is waiting.
Advocate County,
It won't let me pull it up again, I don't know why.
an update. We're checking. We just had an update to our system and it's not letting us pull that up. So we called a clerk upstairs who can. And so we're just going to get that result. Because if I can give you time credit and sort of reduce some of the overload, you know, my next question I have for you while we're waiting on that is, I know I have a hold on your license. That's another reason why I'm interested in the time credit thing, because I want to release that. It's probably triggering suspensions, and honestly, new cases and continuing to drive and get new cases is going to make your you know, your suspension last more. So you probably need to get an occupational license, because I can see that you're employed.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm happy that you said something about that, because currently, I am trying to get another car and stuff like that so I can get back and forth to work on my own type of time. So that is something that I definitely need to get out the way.
Yes, because here's the thing. Even if I deferred, and I often don't defer once you're in this, you're kind of in what have you ever heard the term catch-22?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I'm not going to use that term, but it's applied to situations where you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're there, okay, because it's just gone on and on and on, and there is a way to unravel it. I want to highlight that right now. So I have a pamphlet that you can use that will direct you where to go online to find information. It's information you could find for yourself if you knew how to look for it, okay? And it's kind of self-help to get an occupational license. I've got a term I use for that. I call an occupational a bridge license. It's a bridge from past behavior to current behavior, okay? Current behavior is you're showing up, you're trying, you're doing the things you can figure out how to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Can sometimes get very frustrating for folks because they're doing all the things they know to do and it's not improving the situation. And sometimes it's making it worse. So that you're kind of there. And I just know it because I've been doing this for like a really long time. Like I've been a couple decades now, right? And I've watched these programs.
Yes, ma'am.
I've watched the way they impact people's lives. And so I developed a little self-help just because people just don't know how to unravel it. Okay. The main answer is, you know, you dive right in. Okay. Of course, I've got somebody who was scheduled for 9 o'clock logging in at 10:30. I'm sorry, it's not you, but it's Mr. Matson. Let me look and see what that case is, because I may or may not bother to get him back on. I'm not sure I can get him back on. It is someone that I know has trouble with technology. While we're at it, can we call Ryan and ask him to get back on? Let him know Brett Houston logged in and has probably been having trouble the whole time, just because typically that's not unusual for someone in his situation. Okay, so Mr. Kennedy, what I'm telling you here is I've got a pamphlet and it's kind of a walkthrough for how to get an occupational. I'm not saying you can get one or can't get one. That's up for a different judge to rule on.
Yes, ma'am.
But it will show you how to figure out which judge you're needing to get in front of, what to file to get in front of that judge, and what to do to prepare to get, going on getting in front of that court, because, you really need to solve this and not keep having it cascade on you, so that you can keep your job and keep going in the positive direction that you're going.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, what'll it'll turn into is that you're going to probably have you might have high risk insurance requirement for a while. You might have, you might not, I don't see that necessarily happening. You might, I'm actually pulling up your proof of arrest here in a second. I'm pulling it up. You might have, limited hours when you're allowed to drive for a little while. You might have to pay a bit to get that license because you get it granted and then you pay to get one put on the, where you have a card. So there'll be some things, that you'll
Yes, ma'am.
maybe having to do. But then when you get through all of that, you wind up with the ability to get a regular driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that's some good news to my ears that I love to hear.
Yeah, but it is going to be like doing the homework, right? Okay, so you were arrested in May. I found it. You were there a day. I can apply some credit. Oh, I see. Yeah. That was all around with the same time with Judge Lee,
Yes, ma'am.
Dalton, he saw you at some point. Give me one more minute. You just scanned it to the KPS profile cases so far. So we'll want to print it. I'm not sure why that happened, but hold on just a minute. I'm trying to pull it back up. Technology's great, but it isn't always smooth. It would
That's true.
would be a lot less smooth though if we were doing it all manually. So I can't complain. Okay. Are you printing? Yes. Thank you. Okay, these were March. It was March. That's why she didn't scan it, because they didn't apply. Okay, I can apply this credit to your 2021, 2022 cases,
Yes, ma'am.
the ones that had the older payment plan. The new cases, I can't apply it because the arrest is before you got the charge.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's easy enough. Okay, so that we will clear now. Those older cases. And then that just leaves us with the 3 new cases, and they're not terribly new. They did go to warrant. You've got to start tending to your court dates. That's part of your pattern that's not working well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then your remaining cases. You're working at Sparta, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm a little confused, so you just help me. On this affidavit, you put that you make $15 a week, and then you put $2,400 a month down below for your partner's income.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, you know what? I may have mixed up those boxes.
It's okay. What's your paycheck look like are you paid every week?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your paycheck look like?
I probably make about like 600 after taxes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want, your net. And then is that every week? And have you been there a little while?
Yes, ma'am. That's every week. So I get paid on a week by week basis.
Okay. How long have you been there?
So it's been probably about like, I want to say it was before the summer I started. So since probably back in May.
Okay, so it's going pretty well then.
Yes, ma'am.
You have any children at home?
No, ma'am. I do not have any kids.
Are you the only income to your home? Are you paying all the bills?
Yes, ma'am. Everything is in my name.
Okay, these are your bills.
Yes, ma'am. I stay alone. I don't have a spouse at all.
Okay. And I guess I also want to know, tell me about your cell phone bill because I've got like several numbers here. You put a phone number. What's your bill?
My bill is about 120 a month.
Okay.
And that's me like paying off my phone with my phone bill and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. So I've got some people to let in and I'm just going to let them in. Is Mr. Matson coming?
I got his cell phone, I left it.
Okay. Okay, thank you for this. Folks who just came in, I'll address you shortly. I'm working with someone on Judge Person. You're at the Temple Municipal Court and we'll be with you soon. And I'll probably have to repeat that because nobody's audio was connected. Let's see, let me try the. Okay, so Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy.
Yes, ma'am.
Remaining two cases. Let me double check. I'm sorry. Yeah, the 3 cases. There's 2. I keep getting turned around because there's 2 driving invalid and 1 registration. So the thing is with a deferred, it speeds up your payment timetable, which is fine. I'm showing I could probably get you there, but the thing is, if I place you on a deferred, it's just like a conviction as far as the impact on your license.
So they'll take it.
Yeah, they'll extend your suspension for any new case.
Okay.
Okay.
The
answer really is to just take the hit, get the occupational license, and stop taking the hit because now you're driving lawfully.
Yes, ma'am.
So I can just put you on a payment plan and that'll free you up so that you're paying a low amount here because you've got some other, what we call fish to fry in other courts. You're going to have to file and get an occupational license and come into compliance on anything that's going on. And I want you to come by to sign for your payment plan so that I can also hand you that pamphlet packet I'm talking about for you.
Yes, ma'am.
You can walk yourself through how to get an occupational license. And I'm thinking, let's just do $50 a month.
That sounds good.
What's your on the remaining amount? What's your pay date? Friday, Monday? Sorry?
Every Thursday.
Okay, so let's say every Friday, no later than Friday, you're going to make a payment.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make a payment today and then we won't start again until a Friday next month?
I would if I could. Is it okay if I could start it on the 1st?
Sure. Why not?
And I'll be able to get that over to them. And I'm at work right now, but when I get off, they're usually closed. But I do have to go back and make another payment plan, correct?
Yeah, I need you to come by and sign for it. What time?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a lunch break? What time can you be here today?
I like I was telling you before, I currently don't have a car. Is it okay if I come by tomorrow in the morning?
I'll
Would
allow
that
it.
be an option?
Yeah, I'll allow it. But you must come in because I can't. It goes away, the option, if you don't
Yeah.
show up.
Yes, ma'am. I'll get it taken care of tomorrow, Judge.
Okay. And then just stay, once you get on the payment plan, stay on it and if you see that you can't make a payment, you need to come in and talk to someone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'm making some notes. All right. So we'll have all this at the front desk. And I'm just making a note to get you that occupational license packet. Can we get that one from him?
I do.
Great, thank you. We'll have all that at the front desk for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Judge Parsons.
This is good.
Parsons.
It's fine. It's gonna extend your suspension, and that's just gonna keep happening as you drive until you get an occupational. So the packet you're gonna get tomorrow, you just start with page 1 and get online and research it and figure out how to fill out the forms, and it'll help you figure out where to file them and how to get a court date. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Court date to go to another court and get a lawful way to drive. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. We'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. Okay. First person that logged on was Brett Houston. Mr. Houston, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm doing okay. You don't have a camera, is that right?
No. Yes, ma'am. I don't.
Court started at 9.
I was here at 9, but they gave me the wrong meeting ID number.
Okay. I'm sorry that happened. The
It's all right.
prosecutor, your meeting is with the prosecutor, and I already let him go because he was finished an hour ago. I'm trying to get him back on.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I'm just kind of waiting to hear. We've been trying to reach him. Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
We're trying again.
All right.
The cell phone number, what I need to do, this number. But the money. Thanks. Maybe I'll pick up the license to what we use.
Yeah, maybe the legal department. I've left him a voice message. Okay, we're still trying.
Okay.
Let me just hold tight and we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Mr. Barnes, can you unmute? There you go.
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm Judge Person.
Yes, ma'am.
Court started at 9 and the
I was here at 8:40 and I got that, I sat there till 10:30 and then I called in your office and they sent me a new thing because they sent me the wrong one apparently.
Okay, that happened today and that's not usual for us. So I will run down why that happened. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I've got a few things to talk to you about. But I do want to tell you that part of your meeting today, it's a meeting with me, but it's also a meeting with the prosecutor. And he was finished at 9:45. So he's been gone for an hour. I'm trying to get him back on for the rest of what's happening. And we're just trying to, I've got staff trying to run him down. Okay. So bear with me. Okay. We're
Yes,
doing
ma'am.
we're doing our best, and on any given day, I guess things aren't perfect, but let me just go ahead and talk with you about the things that are directly in front of me. I do have community service that was due in June, and we didn't hear back from you. We didn't get the hours. I haven't put that case into a warrant yet, those cases. But were you able to get any community service done?
So all the community services violated the profile the doctor had me on from that shoulder surgery.
And I
The
really
one he
need
did.
notes from that doctor, like I told you.
I'm sorry.
I really need a note from the doctor though.
I will get that for you, Your Honor. I'll email Scott and White today.
You need to follow up and make sure you get back what I need, because right now it's a month and a half overdue and your case is heading to warrant, and that's really not what I'm interested in doing. So I'm
Me
really,
either, ma'am.
yeah. So I'm sure. So I'm really needing you to follow up, because you're due to
Sure.
June 15th and it's August 24th.
Understood.
So right now I can give you an extension. And it's an extension to either turn in your hours or turn in a doctor note. It's not an extension that's indefinite. There's a due date.
Yes, ma'am. So do I just bring the letter to the ladies that I see to see you
Yes,
up at the courthouse?
yes.
Okay.
And your new due date is September 24th. Okay, so that's that one. And your remaining single matter before the court is a meeting with the prosecutor, and I'm trying to get him onto the phone.
Okay. Yeah, because the lady down there at the courthouse showed me the picture of the dog. That's
Listen,
not my dog.
I can't talk to you about the case because it's
Okay.
with the prosecutor, which is why
Right.
I told you that you need to wait.
Okay.
Yeah, and that just means that you need to wait. So I'm going to remute you. I've got another person coming in. Gentleman with on the iPhone green shirt. Can you unmute and tell me your name?
Good morning, Judge Dietrich Epperson.
Okay, Mr. Epperson. All right, hang on just a moment. We've got Mr. Houston, we've got Mr. Barnes, and we've got Mr. Epperson. I am assuming that you were given an incorrect link. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I had been waiting for 2 hours and something just told me to call. So I called, and unfortunately, that's the case that had happened. I apologize.
Well, I don't know that you need to. Okay, I apologize too. It appears there was a mix-up over here, and it's the first time I've had that ever happen in 2.5 years of doing these Zoom calls. So I will run down where the disconnect happened so that it doesn't happen again. The prosecutor is the person you're meeting with today. We were looking for everybody, and I finally told him, well, I guess you're good to go. So I'm trying to get him back. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to hang on, because I don't want your effort to be wasted.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away, folks, but I'm not leaving. I'm just going to see if anybody else has had any luck reaching him. I did excuse him for the day. The solution would be to give y'all options about whether we reschedule or we into court. There he is. Yay, save the day. Okay. I'm going to explain. I'm letting him in. Once he's connected, I'll explain to him what's happened. But Mr. Epperson will be with you just in a moment, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Matson, thank you for getting back on with us. There seems to have been, I don't know where the disconnect was with the clerk. It's kind of we've never had this happen before situation, so I'm running it down. But these are folks who were waiting. They were actually in court. They were provided a different link for a different day, and they finally hung up and called and got it sorted out. So they've all been in court. They've just been in the wrong setting. And I have them in order and they're ready, but they are here to meet with you.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll start with Brett Houston, and he doesn't have a camera, but I've already confirmed that it's him. Mr. Houston, let's get you unmuted. And what happens now, folks, is when cases are pending that are contested, which are your cases, it is improper for the judge to be part of any discussion outside of procedural. The difference is procedural are things like, what's the date that we're all going to be in court? What's the next setting? What are your rights? Those are procedural things. Things like, is it a proper charge? Are there circumstances? Are you incorrectly charged? What are the facts? Things that get into the facts are things that I shouldn't hear until a trial, because I may be the person deciding that case. And just as I wouldn't talk to you about the case without the prosecutor present, or talk to you not under oath about possible facts, and I wouldn't talk to, say, code enforcement or police officer or animal services, I don't talk to those people about your case without you here. So I keep it very, very strictly defined so that I know that I never leave the lane, because it's legally improper and it's an ethics violation. So all that is a long-winded way of saying you're actually going to be pushed into a breakout room where I won't hear, and the rest of us are just going to wait for turn, and y'all are going to talk first, Mr. Houston, in that breakout room. And I'm not sure if you can see the screen. I know we can't see you, but I'm going to move you over to a breakout room with Mr. Matson, who is the DA, basically. And then y'all will come back after that discussion and talk to me about what's happening next, okay? Okay, Mr. Houston. Mr. Houston, can you unmute so that we can hear you?
Can you hear me now, Your Honor?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to move you over to that meeting with Mr. Ryan Matson, who's the prosecutor for the city.
All right.
Okay, and then everybody else is literally just waiting. I think on these other people, we need to assume that they potentially were given the wrong
They
one.
were given a date and then we sent a new email out on August.
Mhm.
I don't know why they didn't click on that.
Well, I don't know either. I don't know either, because there's no way to know. But we have had 4 people
Wow.
who were here. So I think we should assume that these other people, that happened to, and we should call them and give them an opportunity to reset. Or just to come in for their final pretrial. They can just have a choice. They might still be there, is the problem. Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Let's see, Houston, we have Mr. Oh, yeah, Mr. If they don't answer, just move to the final pretrial. But maybe just resend it out.
Okay.
Um, I didn't see a packet for Neely. Did I put it back? Did I give it back to you already?
Oh, this one, I don't have a question.
So this combobulated day. I don't recall seeing this. Or having the front. Oh, yeah. She was that lady that I did the waiver on, right? Is that right? Was she the person I did the waiver on?
No, that's Ruiz.
Oh, well, Ruiz is in here too. Let's see, Neely. Neely.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Ruiz is attached. So here's Ruiz. They were together. And then this one doesn't have a front screen. But I'll look at getting one. I just have two no shows. How do I get it to print that screen? Do I just go to history?
You go down, you see right here? On the bottom?
Yeah.
Click that. Click on that, and it brings up the thing in history, yes.
So you open one of the files. You open a case first, right?
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Control P will print screen.
Yeah, I know how to print screen. I'm talking about our LT system and the commands that it has, but thank you. And what's the command what was the drop down menu? Which one did you use? Defendant history? Okay. Thank you. Oh, I see. There's a bunch. Just working on getting Mr. Houston back over. Did that print? Okay. Mr. Houston, if you could unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Houston, Mr. Mattson, where are we on the single charge of solicitation in a public roadway?
Judge, I believe that Mr. Houston would qualify for community service. I just wanted to confirm that with you.
Yes.
In that case, I would like to recommend that he be given community service on this charge.
I don't mind considering and doing that, but I don't know what the plea is. Mr. Houston, have you changed your plea to guilty or no contest?
No contest. I just
Okay.
want to get it resolved, Your Honor.
Okay. I can order community service.
Okay.
Are you in the local area?
Yes, ma'am.
It
I
turns,
can, I can come down there and sign the papers tomorrow morning.
okay, it turns into community service of 17 hours.
Okay.
The due date is September 26th. That's a month.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a list of places when you come in to sign.
Okay.
You might even be using some of these services already, and that's fine. For example, like one of those that I see frequently is Feed My Sheep.
Yes, ma'am.
They are, we've never had any hiccups with them, but they're one of many places, and the city is also one of the places you'll have to choose from. But
Okay.
I approve that, and we'll have everything at the front desk tomorrow morning for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Houston.
And I'm done.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Matson, also, Michael Barnes is waiting to talk to you. It's a single charge, I believe, of a accusation regarding a single animal. The other cases are already in resolution form. We're moving towards that. The one case is the June 22nd allegation date for a dog at large, or an animal at large. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Barnes, I'm moving you over to that meeting with the prosecutor.
Okay.
Did Neely's ever print? I thought it printed. I'm still looking for it. I know it. I just don't know. I didn't have anything, so I decided it was together with Ruiz. They were put together. Seems like. Okay, so these are, I printed too many things, but that's okay. On Neely, he says he wants 30 days to pay. I don't have a problem with it, but the problem is it's a post plea, and therefore he'll have to sign for that. Yeah. Or I can consider community service, but it's no show. So right now it's just heading toward a no show. So I'm not in there. Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Matson, where are we with the single case?
We're continuing to final pretrial, Your Honor.
Okay, that case is set for final pretrial on September 6th at 3:00. Mr. Barnes, we'll see you here, okay? I can't hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we'll see you September 6th, okay?
At 3 p.m. at the courthouse.
Yes, I think there's a discovery hearing for that as well.
That's what I was
That
wondering,
is right,
because
Your Honor.
your lady showed me the picture of the dog that's supposed to be mine. It's not.
That you're trying to get me to rule on that right now, but all I can do.
No,
is
I'm not. I'm not. I need the discovery so I can
properly, and
show it. I don't know how to do that part.
properly, and I need to get you to stop doing that. So anyway, discovery is set for September 6th at 3:00 as well.
Okay.
We'll see you then.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And then also Dietrich Emerson, Mr. Emerson, let me move you over to that meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Been a less than smooth day, but you've done a great job. We'll just continue to get to the end of it. Ow, knee. Hit my knee. I would like to remove open space here, because my whole setup was geared towards this, and now it's geared towards this, and there's just a bookshelf here that I have to put my feet into. I would love to remove it. Moving him back over. Okay, on Mr. Epperson's single charge of speeding, where are we, counsel?
Judge, I wanted to see if you would consider defensive driving for Mr. Epperson.
Yes, I would.
Then in that case, I do not have an opposition to him taking DD1. That is what he has indicated he would like to do.
Okay, Mr. Epperson, I see that you're a veteran. Do you have a Texas driver's license?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, and so what I would say is, I'm sorry, my train of thought. You do have to pay the court costs. In this case, I believe they are $146. Let me double check.
There should be 134, Your Honor, unless there is an additional fee that is tacked on for doing defensive driving.
There usually is. Let me double check.
134.
They're 134, and there's no DD1 fee. Normally, there's a setup fee, and it's 140. It's been a little while since we've done that in the courtroom. Yes. Okay, it says, this says on the wrong dates, but we can change these dates, right? Can you pay the court costs today, which are 134?
No, ma'am, with me being a disabled veteran, I live on a fixed income, but I can pay it on the 1st.
Okay. So I'm gonna need a signature on an extension to get you to that date, but otherwise that day would be no problem. I'm just looking, I believe that's a weekday. Let me double check. That's a Friday. Can you sign an extension today so that I can extend you to the 1st to show driver's license, insurance, and pay the 134?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and if I email that extension paperwork to you, can you print it, sign it, and email it back to the court today?
Yes, ma'am, I can do it immediately.
Okay, we'll email probably give us 10 minutes, but we'll email that over to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So then I would just print that form off, sign it, and then scan it and email it back to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we'll send that over to you shortly. Should be, very quick, and that'll extend you. And then on the 1st, you'll come in to do payment, license, and insurance, okay?
So on the 1st, I come in with the payment, license, and insurance. And then as far as the course itself, how do I get that? Will I get that information then?
Yes, because you're not supposed to take it yet. On the 1st, you'll have a 90-day window to get it all back, and they'll give you a handout for how to find your course and how to get your record.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
You
your
are a blessed one. Yes, ma'am. No problem.
I'm sorry that we tried your patience.
No problem. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, I did run down what happened, and what happened is that there was an error and everyone was sent a correction, but I guess not everybody got it. I'm making an assumption for folks who didn't show up today that because there's still like 3 that were not. And I'm going to make an assumption that this happened to them too. We're going to reach out. If we reach them, we're going to give them an option to reset their Zoom because potentially they were over in the wrong meeting. If I can figure out that meeting, I'm going to log on and check on it. But I can't do that and be in this meeting at the same time.
Right.
So we're going to reach out, and if they want to reset, we'll let them reset, which might push their final pretrial out to a different date. If they want to just come in for their final, we're going to allow that. So
That sounds like a good compromise to me, Your Honor.
if we can't reach them, we're just going to hold with their final pretrial date that they originally got, because that didn't change.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much for your flexibility today. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Absolutely. Happy to clear things up.
In 2.5 years of doing this, I really have not had that happen. So it caught me off guard a little bit, but
First time for everything.
Yeah, we'll adjust.
Alrighty. I guess that I will see you